Patriots, baby.
The Inky Mann.
And he's on the door. And he's on the door.
It is real.
And he's on the door. And he's on the door.
Hold your ears, folks. It's showtime.
What up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy. Today we're going to talk about the pattern of financial freedom. So if you haven't tuned in to any of the shows up to this point, I'm retiring at 50. I'm 49 right now. And what I'm looking to do is use the cash flow quadrant as the basis for what I'm going to do, how I'm going to retire, and use various tools, mentors, and things like that to achieve this goal in this less than 1 year period. Now, the reason I'm using cash flow quadrant is because it is the guide to financial freedom. I'm a big fan of Robert Kiyosaki, from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, to this book, to the corporations, and other things. And I'm even thinking about getting that game that they got, the rat race game, and seeing if anybody's down to play. You know what I mean? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read some passages out of this book to kind of point out exactly what he's saying. So I'm going to put on my crooked glasses here and let us begin. So the pattern for financial freedom. Now, according to him, the pattern. This is the cash flow quadrant here, right? Different versions of it here. Employee, small business, business owner, or big business, investor, right? Most people, the average person, is either an employee or self-employed, which is the left side of the quadrant. The goal is to be here on the right side of the quadrant. My goal is to be here on the right side, because this is the side that will get you the financial freedom that you need to be able to retire, according to this book. So I'm going to go ahead and read in. All right. So this is the pattern my rich dad recommended. It is the path to financial freedom. This is true financial freedom because in the B quadrant, people are working for you, and in the I quadrant, your money is working for you. You are free to work or not to work. Your knowledge in these two quadrants has brought you complete physical freedom from work, which is my goal, retirement. If you look at the ultra rich, this is their pattern. This is how it is in the book. It's going from B to I to B. The loop around the B and I signifies the income pattern of people like Bill Gates, Rupert Murdoch, and Warren Buffett. A quick word of caution. The B quadrant is much different from the I quadrant. I've seen many successful Bs sell their businesses for millions, and their newfound wealth goes to their head. They tend to think that their dollars are a measure of their IQ. So they swagger on down to the I quadrant and lose it all. The game and rules are different in all of the quadrants, which is why I recommend education over an ego trip. Just as in the case of financial security, having two quadrants gives you greater stability in the world of financial freedom. A choice of paths. The preceding patterns are the different financial paths people choose. Unfortunately, most people choose the path of job security. When the economy starts wobbling, they cling ever more desperately to job security and wind up spending their lives pursuing it. Now, that's the average person. Okay. At a minimum, I recommend becoming educated in financial security, which is feeling confident about your job and feeling confident about your ability to invest in good and bad times. A big secret is that true investors make more money in bad markets. They make their money because the non-investors are panicking and selling when they should be buying. I'm not afraid of the public I'm not afraid of the possible coming economic changes because change means wealth is being transferred. I dig that. Let me slow down with this one real quick. So what this means is, say you buy a stock. Say you buy McDonald's stock and it costs $20. And you bought $100, so you got 5 shares. When that stock starts to go down and it's no longer 20, now it's 15, now it's 10, now it's 5. The people who panic and who are not understanding how this thing works, they start to sell off their shares. So say you bought it at 20, you have 5 shares because you spent $100, and now the shares each are now worth 10, and you panic and you sell all your shares, all 5 shares at $10. Now you're $50 is what you've gained from that or lost from that. Okay, let me say that correctly too, because you might have thought you gained because you got money from it. And okay, yeah, you gained probably that day, but in the overall investment, you lost $50. Now, here's where the true investors come in to prove this point. As opposed to then, if the stocks are going down, you bought them at $20 and the stocks are going down, buy more. Buy them at 10. Buy them at 5. You understand what I mean? Now, why would you do that? Someone here is going to say,
well, what about if it's going down, aren't you going to lose all your money?
Well, that could be possibly true if it goes down and it bottoms out. But investments in Disney, CBS, NBC, McDonald's, they're not going nowhere. They're not. You mean to tell me, now again, this is that particular stock. There's other stocks that could have the same effect. But the point I'm trying to make and why I'm using McDonald's is because even though McDonald's is in the public, generally the public realizes there are so many McDonald's that exist. How are they going to all close all over the world? So if something's happening with McDonald's and the stock is going down, as opposed to dumping it, buy more. You know they're going to come back up. You know they're going to bring the McRib back. You know they might bring the McD sandwich back. You know they're going to buy more franchises. You understand what I mean? McDonald's is the biggest real estate holder in the world. Think about that. They own all valuable properties. As a franchisee getting a McDonald's, you're usually getting it in a good location. Okay? But as you are a franchisee, you don't own it per se. You own something that was already established. So the people at the top, they own it and they benefit. So McDonald's owns that land that you bought. Bought it in your name, sure. But McDonald's owns that. So McDonald's is the biggest real estate holder in the world. Right? They're not going anywhere. So if their stock is going down, that's the time to buy. Okay? So let's take it away from McDonald's and say stock ABC, cryptocurrency ABC, business ABC. If it was worth this much when you got in and it starts to go down, you put some money in it. If you know enough about the company, say to the McDonald's level. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, comment below. Let me get back into this right here. Because this next part is very, very interesting. Your boss cannot make you rich, is how this is headlined. That's the headline. A friend of mine sold his company and on the day of the sale put more than $15 million into his bank account. On the other hand, his employees had to look for new jobs. Business owner, employees, business owner. See the size of the quadrant? At the farewell party, which was filled with tears, there were also undercurrents of extreme anger and resentment. Although he paid them well for years, most were financially no better off on their last day of work than they were on their first day of work. Many people realized that the owner of the company had become rich while they spent all those years collecting their paychecks and paying bills. The reality is that your boss's job is not to make you rich. Your boss's job is to make sure you get your paycheck. It's your job to become rich if you want to. And that job begins the moment you receive your paycheck. Let me read that again. The reality is that your boss's job is not to make you rich. Your boss's job is to make sure you get your paycheck. It's your job to become rich if you want to. And that job begins the moment you receive your paycheck. If you have poor money management skills, then all the money in the world wouldn't save you. If you budget your money wisely and learn about either the B or I quadrant, I lost my space. Then you're on your own path to great personal fortune and, most importantly, freedom. My rich dad used to say to his son and me that the only difference between a rich person and a poor person is what they do in their spare time. Now, I'm not done, but that right there is so on point. I remember I had a conversation with my granddaughter's father, and we were talking about how certain people, when they go out, when their idea of fun is going and spending money on clothing, going shopping, or going to a club or things like that. As a matter of fact, we were talking about how kids get sponsored in skating and things like that. I don't know why we were talking about that, but we were talking about that, and the point that we were making was the kids that are getting sponsored doing skating and online skating, inline skating, things like that, they're getting paid to do what they want to do, but at an early age. But at the same time, they're getting paid for something they want to do, something that they have fun in. You understand? So really think about what I'm about to say. What do you do in your spare time? Is it something that's going to further your existence, progress in life, further you in something you're trying to do, put you closer to a goal that you achieved? Are you even thinking about that goal? Because there are people who literally just get up and their whole association and whole friendship is built on moving forward. And the conversation that him and I had was that the majority of the people don't do that. There are people who are raised to do that. You might have that friend that goes and plays golf, but even though they're playing golf, they're discussing business deals. Or they might go, when I was in California, this was really big when I was in San Diego. A lot of people used to go to the sushi bar, and some people went to the sushi bar to discuss ideas. They were having fun, drinking sake and chasing it and all that stuff, eating the various forms of sushi, but they were talking business. I seen that a lot in San Diego. And there was a lot of people in San Diego who owned businesses, young and old, that were prospering. And this was like mid to early 2000, okay? And I seen that there. But this is something to think about. What do you do in your spare time? Now let me sidebar something really quick. Everything that I said does not appeal to everybody. Some people don't want to, get further, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's your prerogative. That's your prerogative. I'm not shaming anybody. But this is what I'm doing. And if you are down with what I'm doing and trying to do that, then I'm talking to you. Okay? So let me just do that right now. That's my disclaimer. And I probably will never explain it again. I don't know. All right, so let's get back to this. So he says, I agree with the statement. So let me go back to that. My rich dad used to say to his son and me that the only difference between a rich person and a poor person is what they do in their spare time. I agree with that statement. I realize that people are busier than ever before, and free time is more and more precious. Yet, I believe that if you're going to be busy anyway, be busy on both sides of the cash flow quadrant. If you do that, you'll have a better chance of eventually finding more free time, and more financial freedom. When at work, work hard. But remember that what you do after work with your paycheck and your spare time will determine your future. If you work hard on the left side, you'll work hard forever. If you work hard on the right side, you have a chance of finding freedom. And I'm gonna put it there. I'm gonna put that one right there.
Inky Mann, you ain't right. You ain't right? You ain't right. You're not right. You're gonna do it because you're not right. Love and respect. I am the person with quality. Master the plan, making your own reality. Hey.
We're gonna end it on that because I know I'm way past 10 minutes on this, but I hope you learned something from this. Okay. Now I want you to understand that a lot of this show that is going up to this point, I'm telling you how this book is. I'm going to get into what I'm doing soon enough. All right. But I just want to kind of put the building blocks together, the foundation of what it is I'm doing, where it's coming from. I want to make sure that it's something that's easy to follow. This is going to be a year journey, you know what I mean? And I want it to be something that's easy to follow, something that's, it's bite-sized and makes sense. I'm going to be putting some personal information out there, but I don't mind because I want to prove to you this can be done. You understand what I mean? And it would be great if, as you following along, this happens for you. It would be great if there's something that you think I should know, you let me know and we talk about it. I've also started a page, the Inky Mann page on Facebook. If you want to be involved with that, let me know and I'll invite you to that page. And then within that page, I plan to do some other things. So right now, there's about a good 70 people within that page from the last time I looked. All of you that are there, thank you very much for tuning into what's going on here. I also have a secret group within that page. And I'll leave it at that. Until I develop more with that. I got a few people in there at this moment. So with that being said, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. Happy Monday to you. I'm glad that you tuned in for Motivation Monday. Y'all be good. Later.